Hello everyone, hello, welcome to the video course English File Pro Intermediate 4th edition. Episode number 15, Unit 5, Part A. I want it now. It is the name of this part. Here, you work, I just say what to do. In today's lesson, you will revise comparative adjectives. You remember? Bigger, more interesting, more exciting, and so on. And learn to use comparative adverbs like walk faster or go more slowly, stuff like that. And the structure as or not as. This book is as interesting as that one to compare things. The context of the lesson is some new information based on recent research, which shows how fast the pace of life has become in recent years. Like nowadays, everyone doesn't have much time to do things. Everything is very fast, yeah? This is followed by a vocabulary part, which focuses on types of numbers, such as fractions, dates, percentages, etc. There is nothing difficult, but this thing needs to be revised and practiced. Then you will have a listening task, which provides some vocabulary for a speaking part. It will be about how your life has changed over the last 3 years. But before we start, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who is supporting my channel. And remember, these lessons are available only because of you. So, if you want to see more episodes, please join my Boosty or use donation alerts. You can find all the links in the description. It's very important. And now, let's start our lesson. Part 1. Reading and speaking. Part A. Look at the questionnaire. In pairs, ask and answer the questions. Answer with often, sometimes, or never. How fast is your life? Let me do it first, then you will do it. Number 1. Do people tell you that you talk too quickly? Sometimes, when I film a video, I can control how fast I speak. But there are moments when my students complain that I speak too quickly, so it happens sometimes. Number 2. Do you get impatient when other people are talking? Never. I am a good listener. I prefer listening to people and asking questions rather than talking myself. Let's move on. Number 3. Are you the first person to finish at meal times? Sometimes I'm a fast eater, but I am a slow drinker. I eat quickly, and it's a problem. But I can drink a small cup of coffee like 30 minutes or more. Next question. When you're walking along a street, do you feel frustrated when you are behind people who are walking more slowly? Often, yeah, I hate this feeling. I always walk fast and try to pass people, leaving them behind me. Number 5. Do you get irritable if you sit for an hour without doing anything, for example, waiting for the doctor? Sometimes, if I have a phone with me, I think it's okay. Number 6. Do you walk out of shops and restaurants if there is a queue? Often, if I see a long queue there, I just walk out and look for something else, because there are a lot of restaurants, there are a lot of shops. Why should I need to wait? That's the question. Now use the same words for your answers. Remember, often, sometimes, never. And write them down. Good luck, just do this task. So let's see the results. How fast is your life? Calculate your partner's score and tell him or her. Then read to see what your score means. Do you agree? Since we don't have any partners with us, calculate your own score, right? How to score? 1 point for never, 2 points for sometimes, 3 points for often. For example, I have got 13 points. So my score is 13. Let's see. Is your score between 10 and 14? Yes, that's my option, in the middle. So, you have a medium pace of life. You're probably somebody who can change the speed at which you live depending on the situation. I think it's true. It's completely true, and I think it's okay to have this result. Now, what about you? Count your score, read the results, and then answer the question. Part C. Read the article. What is the main reason why life is faster today? Remember that when you read a text for the first time, you don't need to understand details. You need just to get the main idea. And after that, you can start your answer with something. The main reason why life is faster today. Because of or because read and find out. Good luck. I want it and I want it now. Why are we so impatient? Whatever happened to patience? We don't like waiting for things anymore. With faster broadband, instant searches, and immediate downloads, we expect things to happen immediately, and if they don't, we get impatient. Fast food restaurants have changed the way we eat. The growth of mobile phone apps, like Tinder, has changed the way we meet new people. We don't need to wait a week to see the next episode of a TV series. We can download it on Netflix. We are even walking 10% faster than 20 years ago and talking more quickly. Everything is getting faster. But is it getting better? That depends on how fast you like to live. More than 125 million Google searches are made every hour. The average British person is only prepared to wait 4 minutes to get a drink in a bar, and 6 minutes for a bus. 50% of users leave a web page that doesn't load in 10 seconds. 3 out of 5 people don't return to that site. A third of British people expect a like on a Facebook picture in less than a minute after posting it. British people's most hated time-wasting activities are, in order: Number 1. Waiting to be connected on the phone. Number 2. Waiting for a replacement credit card. Number 3. Waiting for a shopping delivery. Number 4. Waiting for a delayed flight. And number 5. Being stuck in traffic. Before you do the second task, study the following vocabulary: whatever, patience, broadband, instant searches, immediate, get impatient, growth, phone apps, a replacement, a delayed flight, to be stuck in the traffic. Now we are ready to do this task, or you are ready to do that. In 2 minutes, find the answers to questions 1 to 8 in the article. Look, it doesn't have to be 2 minutes. Just recommendation, nothing more, okay? Number 1. How do we feel when things don't happen immediately? Number 2. What has changed the way we meet people? Number 3. How much faster are we walking than in the past? Number 4. How many Google searches are made every hour? Number 5. How many people decide not to go back to a web page if it takes more than 10 seconds to load? Number 6. What do some Facebook users expect to get less than a minute after posting a picture? Oh, it's the easiest one. Number 7. How long are British people prepared to wait for a bus? And number 8. Which activity do they find more annoying? Waiting for a replacement credit card or for a shopping delivery? Again, you don't have to follow this instruction of 2 minutes limit. Just chill, relax, and do it as you can. 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's up to you. The main thing here is to answer these questions. Make sure that you understand the whole article and can speak about it and express ideas from it. Good luck. I want it and I want it now. Why are we so impatient? Whatever happened to patience? We don't like waiting for things anymore. With faster broadband, instant searches, and immediate downloads, we expect things to happen immediately, and if they don't, we get impatient. Fast food restaurants have changed the way we eat. The growth of mobile phone apps, like Tinder, has changed the way we meet new people. We don't need to wait a week to see the next episode of a TV series. We can download it on Netflix. We are even walking 10% faster than 20 years ago and talking more quickly. Everything is getting faster. But is it getting better? That depends on how fast you like to live. More than 125 million Google searches are made every hour. The average British person is only prepared to wait 4 minutes to get a drink in a bar, and 6 minutes for a bus. 50% of users leave a web page that doesn't load in 10 seconds. 3 out of 5 people don't return to that site. A third of British people expect a like on a Facebook picture in less than a minute after posting it. British people's most hated time-wasting activities are, in order: Number 1. Waiting to be connected on the phone. Number 2. Waiting for a replacement credit card. Number 3. Waiting for a shopping delivery. Number 4. Waiting for a delayed flight. And number 5. Being stuck in traffic. Now let's see the answers. Number 1. How do we feel when things don't happen immediately? Impatient. Number 2. What has changed the way we meet people? Mobile phone apps like Tinder. Number 3. How much faster are we walking than in the past? Like only 10%. Number 4. How many Google searches are made every hour? More than 125 million. Number 5. How many people decide not to go back to a web page if it takes more than 10 seconds to load? 3 out of 5. How to say it? 5 people, 3 out of 5. Number 6. What do some Facebook users expect to get less than a minute after posting a picture? Of course, it's a like. Number 7. How long are British people prepared to wait for a bus? 6 minutes. And number 8. Which activity do they find more annoying, waiting for a replacement credit card or for a shopping delivery? It's waiting for a replacement credit card. Let's move on. Part E. Underline. It's in your head, okay? 6 technology words in the article. For example, site and I don't want to spoil. Look, there are more than 6 words. Try to find any possible words that can be related to technology. Part F. Answer the questions with a partner. Number 1. Do you think the statistics are true in your country? Okay, let me answer first, then you will do it, as usually. I think, yeah. I believe they're quite the same. I think, when people get technology or have some technological stuff, maybe it changes their lives. Now we can't wait for more than, I think, 10 seconds to open a web page. Everybody doesn't even remember what was it like to have a really slow internet connection, really slow internet. I think everything in the article is true. Number 2. Which of the time-wasting activities annoys you the most and why? Oh, only one maybe. There is always a long queue in a hospital if you want to get some, papers there for work or for whatever. It takes a lot of time. I even believe healthcare services are getting slower and slower with all of these technologies. I don't know why. Number 3. Do you think it's a good thing that life is getting faster? Why? Why not? Philosophy is coming. I think it's a good thing. Yeah, it's difficult to keep up with everything. You also have to work fast, think fast, and make quick decisions. And our resources are limited, of course. But for me, it's still possible to live a good life, even though it's very fast. What about you? Now, your turn to speak. And remember to include some reasoning and explanation in your answers. Always try to explain why you think so, using because. So, good luck. Теперь на всякий случай переведем данную статью. Она у нас называется так. Я хочу это сейчас. Почему мы такие нетерпеливые? Вот. А вот этот вот заголовок, он намекает на риторичность вопроса Whatever happened to patience? Это из разряда «Что же такого могло случиться с терпением?» Мы не любим ждать вещи больше. То есть имеется в виду, больше мы не любим ждать. С этого момента это прекратилось. С очень быстрой широкополосной связью, мгновенными поисковыми запросами и незамедлительными скачками. Так, ладно, когда все скачивается немедленно, то есть сразу нажал и скачалось, мы ожидаем вещи, что они случатся у нас сразу, незамедлительно. И если этого не происходит, мы становимся нетерпеливыми. Рестораны фастфуда изменили наши пищевые привычки или тот способ, по которому мы питаемся. Дальше рост мобильных приложений, таких как Tinder, изменил способ, по которому мы знакомимся с новыми людьми. Нам больше не нужно ждать неделю, чтобы посмотреть следующую серию сериала. Не обращайте внимания здесь на эску на конце. A TV series это переводится как сериал. Мы можем скачать это на Netflix. И мы даже ходим на 10% быстрее, чем 20 лет назад. И говорим более быстро. Все становится быстрее. Но все ли становится лучше? Это зависит от того, насколько быстро вам нравится жить. Вот здесь вот такие вот моменты. И дальше пошла статистика. Более чем 125 миллионов поисковых запросов в Google совершаются каждый час. Средний британец, можно так вот перевести это, среднестатистический британец только готов ждать 4 минуты, чтобы получить выпивку в баре, и 6 минут, чтобы дождаться автобуса. 50% пользователей интернета покидают страницу, то есть покидают сайт, если этот сайт не загружается за 10 секунд. А 3 из 5 людей не возвращаются на этот сайт после такого опыта. Вот. Так, 1/3, получается, треть всех британцев ожидают, что у них появится лайк на фотографии, которые они выложили в Facebook, за время меньше, чем минуту после того, как они его выложили. То есть тут не прям, конечно, дословно, но основная мысль понятна, что вот люди выложили какую-то фотографию на Facebook, и они вот меньше, чем за минуту ждут, что там уже хотя бы один лайк поставят. Так, и тут у нас. Это у нас список того, что британцы больше всего ненавидят с точки зрения time wasting. Time wasting — это впустую потраченное время, activities — это какие-то вот активности. То есть активности, которые впустую растрачивают время. И тут топ, список. Первое у нас стоит в списке что? Это ожидание, чтобы быть подключенным по телефону. Ну, имеется в виду, что вот эта вот небольшая задержка, когда мы кому-то звоним, сначала телефон прогружается, и потом только начинается звонок. Вот это вот первое. Второе. Ожидание того, что вам поменяют кредитную карту. Replacement — это замена, ожидание замены кредитной карты. Третье. Ожидание доставки с магазина. То есть вы что-то заказали онлайн, и вот это вот ожидание доставки у людей — это как вот time wasting activity. Дальше ожидание отложенного полета. Либо самолет задержали, отложили, и вот это вот ожидание люди ненавидят. Ну и на пятом месте being stuck in a traffic. Traffic — это у нас поток машин, то бишь пробка. Здесь может быть вот так вот переведено, то есть застрять в пробке. Это вот на пятом месте. Так, ну все, вот такая вот статья. Теперь можно идти дальше. Part number 2. Vocabulary. Types of numbers. Part A. Look at the green numbers in the top row of the infographic in 1C. How do you say them? Try to pronounce or try to say these words, then check yourself.
(5.1)
More than 125 million Google searches are made every hour. 50% of users leave a web page that doesn't load in 10 seconds. 3 out of 5 people don't return to that site. A third of British people expect a like on a Facebook picture in less than a minute after posting it.
Part C. How do you say these numbers and dates? Again, try to say them. If you don't have any ideas how, it's okay. Just use your intuition, then check yourself.
(5.2)
184.
3025.
2500.
The 25th of May.
$6 million.
75%.
2/3.
9.2.
Fractions, extra practice. 1/2 or a half. 1/3 or a third. 2/3. A quarter. 2/4. 3/4. 1/5. 2/5. 3/5. 4/5. 6/18. 15/20. Part E. That's an interesting task. Listen and write the numbers. It's a dictation. And number 1 has been already done for you. Try to do the others.
5.3 1.
What's your address?
213 Station Road.
2.
When's your birthday?
The 20th of June.
3.
So, how many people live here?
About 120,000, I think.
4.
How much did the house cost?
A lot. 795,000
Is that in pounds or dollars?
dollars.
5.
How much of your salary do you spend on rent?
At least a third, I think.
6.
What percentage of your day do you spend working or studying?
I'm not sure. Between 60 and 70% maybe?
5.3. 1,
What's your address?
213 Station Road.
2,
When's your birthday?
The 20th of June.
3,
So, how many people live here?
About 120,000, I think.
4,
How much did the house cost?
A lot. 795,000
Is that in pounds or dollars?
dollars.
5,
How much of your salary do you spend on rent?
At least a third, I think.
6,
What percentage of your day do you spend working or studying?
I'm not sure. Between 60 and 70% maybe?
Part F. Answer the questions with a partner. Number 1. Okay, again, a little bit of speaking. When's your birthday? My birthday is on the 7th of July. Number 2. What's the number of your house or building? Look, I will skip this one, okay? Number 3. What's the population of your town or city? Population is the number of people who live there. Maybe it's about 70,000 people or less. My town isn't so big. Number 4. What's the average price of buying or renting a 2-bedroom flat there? Whoa, in dollars, I think it's about 315, but it's not for the best one. If you look for a good one, it will be about, $450, something like that. It's about renting. What about buying? I don't know, just numbers are huge. 5. What percentage of the day do you normally spend working or studying? I believe it's 40 or 50%, or maybe a third of the day. Yeah, I work a lot, but I still think it's not enough. So, what about you? Do this. Part number 3. Grammar and pronunciation. Comparative adjectives and adverbs as and schwa sound. Part A. Look at the highlighted words in the sentences. Are they adjectives or adverbs? That's an interesting. Let me remind you something. Look, adjective modifies noun. A good runner. Good is an adjective here. Or a beautiful girl, for example. Beautiful is an adjective. But what about adverbs? They modify verbs, like how we do it. Like talk quickly, it's an adverb. Or walk fast, here it's an adverb. Or think slowly, it's an adverb. I hope you get a small idea. Now try to say whether these words are adjectives or adverbs. Then check yourself. Now let's see. Life is very busy. It's an adjective. He is sometimes stressed. It's an also adjective. My sister walks and talks very quickly. So how does she do it? Quickly. It's an adverb. Number 3. Some young people eat a lot of fast food. Fast, it's an adjective here. Number 4. If things don't happen as fast as I want them to, I get impatient. Here, fast, happen how? Happen fast. it's an adverb. I get impatient, it means in this state, here it's an adjective. Number 5. Some people don't think living faster is a bad thing. Which thing? A bad thing. It's an adjective. And I think in general, I live well. I live how? I live well. It's an adverb. Part B. Circle the correct form. Life is faster or more fast than before. Traffic in cities is more bad or worse than it was. Everybody's, here it's about spelling, like busier than they were 5 years ago. We are more stressed or stresseder than our grandparents were. Number 5, we do everything more quickly or quicklier. And 6, people aren't as patient as or as patient than they were before. Here, look, it's just warming up before grammar part. Try to do it using your intuition and check yourself, but don't be so fussy about this particular task. It's just a warming up task. Now listen to the examples given here.
5.4. 1,
I'm busier than I was 5 years ago.
People are more impatient today than in the past.
2,
I'm less relaxed this year than I was last year.
3,
The service in this restaurant isn't as good as it was.
5.5. 1,
People walk more quickly than in the past.
2,
My brother speaks French, but less fluently than me.
3,
She doesn't drive as fast as her brother.
So let's start. Adjectives. To compare two people, places, or things, we use number 1, comparative adjectives. Number 2, less plus adjective. And number 3, not or just as adjective plus as. Here we have a chart with comparative adjectives, how to form them. Short, shorter. One syllable plus, this ending of er. Short, shorter, and so on. Hot, hotter. One vowel plus one consonant, double final consonant. You see double T here. Stressed, more stressed. Busy, busier. Two-syllable adjectives ending in consonant plus y. We just delete y and we add IER. Now relaxed, more relaxed. 2 or more syllables, more plus adjective. Like interesting, more interesting, and so on. And this thing you have to remember. Good, better, irregular, bad, worse, irregular, and far, further, or farther. Okay, let's move on to adverbs. To compare two actions, we use 1, comparative adverbs, 2, less plus adverb, plus adverb, and 3, not as plus adverb plus as. Comparative adverbs. Here, let's look at this chart. Quick, more quickly. You see, adverbs ending in ly, we use more. It's not like quicklier, it's something like that. No, just more quickly, more carefully, and so on. But there are 4 irregulars here. Fast, faster, you see, hard, harder, well, better, badly, worse. It's to remember. Comparative with pronouns. After comparative plus than or as, we can use an object pronoun, me, her, etc., or a subject pronoun plus auxiliary verb. For example, my brother is taller than me. My brother is taller than I am. He is not as intelligent as her. He is not as intelligent as she is. Oh, so there are some options. Now, look, let's finish reading the rules and let's do some practical things. they're always better. 5a. Part A. Write sentences with a comparative adjective or adverb plus than. Part B. Rewrite the sentences so they mean the same. Use as. Luke is stronger than Peter. Peter isn't as strong as Luke. Or Adam is shorter than Jerry. So Jerry isn't as short as Adam. You see, I hope you get the idea how to do it. Now try to do it yourself. Then check yourself by watching me doing these exercises and trying to explain things while I'm doing them. So let's go. Now let's look at the answers and let's do these exercises. Part A. Write sentences with a comparative adjective or adverb plus than. You see, expensive, and we write New York is more expensive than Miami. Here, number 1, we have fast. It's faster than. Modern computers are much faster than the early ones. It makes sense. Number 2, my sister, you see, short. So we put my sister is shorter than me. It means that I am taller than my sister. Number 3, this exercise is easier than the last one. And you see what we do with y at the end here. Instead of it, we put IER instead of y. Next, far. Far, it's irregular. So it will be something like that. Newcastle is farther than... sorry. Newcastle is farther from London than Leeds. Number 5. I thought... bad. It's also irregular. I thought the third Bridget Jones film was worse than the first two. Again, good. It's irregular. Manchester United played better than Arsenal. Here it's easy. Stressed, yeah. It's not irregular, so I'm more stressed. Remember that after adjectives that end with ed, we put just more. More stressed, something like that here. I'm more stressed this year than I was last year. Number 8, I'm working harder this year than last year. Number 9, the new airport is bigger than the old one. Yeah, and we have here double G. I'm not lazy, number 10. I just work slowly. Yeah, remember it's an adverb and ending with ly. So we just put I just work more slowly than you. So it's the result. I hope you get something like that, or you got something like that. Okay, let's move on. I noticed something here. Shorter, yeah? Let's delete this letter. It's extra. Oh, let me rewrite it. Yeah, I will rewrite it. My sister is just shorter than me. Now it's okay. Okay, let's move on. Rewrite the sentences so they mean the same. Use as. Luke, Peter. Luke is stronger than Pete. Peter isn't as strong as Luke. Adam is shorter than Jerry. Jerry isn't as short as Adam. Your bag is nicer than mine. your bag isn't as nice as yours. Tokyo is bigger than London, so London isn't as big as Tokyo. Tennis is more popular than cricket, so cricket isn't as popular as tennis. Number 5. Children learn languages faster than adults. Adults don't learn faster, adults don't learn as fast as children. Languages here. Number 6. I work harder than you. You don't work as hard as me. England played better than France. France didn't play Now listen these sentences again and repeat after the audio. Practice saying them.
5.6. 1.
Life is faster than before.
2.
Traffic in cities is worse than it was.
3.
Everybody is busier than they were 5 years ago.
4.
We are more stressed than our grandparents were.
5.
We do everything more quickly.
6.
People aren't as patient as they were before.
Wow, listening and speaking. Part A. Look at question 1 below. Listen to 5 people talking about 5 different things. What are they talking about? Write the numbers of the speakers next to the topics. You see, there are only 5 speakers. How has your life changed over the last 3 years? Number 1. Do you spend more or less time and why? Like, do you spend more or less time working or studying, getting to work, university or school, sitting in traffic, talking on the phone, seeing friends, online, sleeping, cooking, shopping, using your computer? Look, how to explain? You will hear 5 speakers, like speaker number 1, speaker number 2, speaker number 3. And speaker number 1, for example, will say, hello, I spent much less time, beep, that is going to real shop than in the past because now I get so much online. And you have to understand what it is, what was hidden behind this beep sound. And as you can guess, it will be one of these statements or one of these questions. Like, do you spend more or less time working or studying, and to work in university or school? And you need to put numbers here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. No more, only 5 speakers answering 5 questions. If you don't understand what I'm saying, just listen to the audio, okay? Try to understand the audio. It will be something like that. Okay, now do this task.
5.7. 1.
I spend much less time, that is, going to real shops than in the past because now I get so much online. I buy most of my food online, everything except fresh things like meat or fruit and vegetables. I get books from Amazon. I buy a lot of clothes online, and it's so quick. You don't have to go there. You don't spend as long looking for what you want. It's just much, much quicker. I definitely prefer it.
2.
One of the things that has changed for me is it takes me much longer now because I cycle. A few years ago I drove, I took the car, but then I decided to cycle. Not always because I enjoy it, but because I know it's healthier. It takes me about half an hour to get to work now. Actually, when the weather's good, I really enjoy it. But when it's raining or just cold and horrible, I get up and I think, oh no.
3.
I definitely spend a lot more time now than I did before. I think because about a year ago I started living with my boyfriend. When I lived alone, in the evening I was tired and I just got a takeaway or made something really quickly or just had some bread and cheese or whatever was in the fridge. Whatever was easier. But when you have someone else in the house, you feel more like cooking. And also, my boyfriend's a vegetarian, so it's a bit more complicated to do something very quick. So before, I spent about 20 minutes a day, and now I spend about an hour. But I'm quite happy with that. I enjoy it.
4.
I probably spend about the same amount of time as I did 3 years ago. I'm a freelance writer now, and 3 years ago I had an office job, so I was doing, 35 hours a week. Now, some weeks I probably work about 50 hours and others 20 hours, but on average I think it's about the same.
5.
I definitely spend less time because 2 years ago we moved to the country from the city, and most of our friends are in the city, and they're quite a long way away from us now. Sometimes they come and spend the weekend with us, or we go and spend the weekend with them, but on average, I definitely spend less time with them.
Listen again and check. Then answer the questions with the number of the speaker. Who? Okay, who spends the same time on something as before but divides his/her time differently? B. Spends more time doing something online. C. Spends less time on something because of not living in the city now. Spends more time on something because it's good for him or her. And spends more time on something because of living with his/her partner. Look, we have 5 speakers, we have 5 gaps. Try to put numbers here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, good luck.
5.8. 1.
I spend much less time shopping, that is, going to real shops, than in the past because now I get so much online. I buy most of my food online, everything except fresh things like meat or fruit and vegetables. I get books from Amazon. I buy a lot of clothes online, and it's so quick. You don't have to go there. You don't spend as long looking for what you want. It's just much, much quicker. I definitely prefer it.
2.
One of the things that has changed for me is getting to work. It takes me much longer now because I cycle. A few years ago I drove. I took the car. But then I decided to cycle. Not always because I enjoy it, but because I know it's healthier. It takes me about half an hour to get to work now. Actually, when the weather's good, I really enjoy it. But when it's raining or just cold and horrible, I get up and I think, oh no.
3.
I definitely spend a lot more time cooking now than I did before. I think because about a year ago I started living with my boyfriend. When I lived alone, in the evening I was tired and I just got a takeaway or made something really quickly or just had some bread and cheese or whatever was in the fridge. Whatever was easier. But when you have someone else in the house, you feel more like cooking. And Also, my boyfriend's a vegetarian, so it's a bit more complicated to do something very quick. So before, I spent about 20 minutes a day, and now I spend about an hour. But I'm quite happy with that. I enjoy it.
4.
I probably spend about the same amount of time working as I did 3 years ago. I'm a freelance writer now, and 3 years ago I had an office job, so I was doing, 35 hours a week. Now, some weeks I probably work about 50 hours and others 20 hours, but on average I think it's about the same.
5.
I definitely spend less time seeing friends because 2 years ago we moved to the country from the city, and most of our friends are in the city, and they're quite a long way away from us now. Sometimes they come and spend the weekend with us, or we go and spend the weekend with them, but on average, I definitely spend less time with them.
Теперь переведем расшифровку этой аудиозаписи на всякий случай. Первый говорящий у нас. Я трачу намного меньше времени на покупки. Ну да, то есть это как бы здесь слово «паразит» можно пропустить. В реальные магазины, чем в прошлом. Потому что сейчас я покупаю столько всего в интернете. Ну вот. Я покупаю большинство своей еды в интернете. Все, кроме свежих вещей, как мясо, либо фрукты и овощи. Это у нас просто М. Я покупаю книги с Амазона. Я покупаю много одежды, тоже в интернете. И это так быстро. Вам нет необходимости, то есть вам не нужно идти туда. Вы не тратите время, да, вы не проводите столько времени, так много времени в поиске того, что вы хотите. Вот так вот это можно перевести здесь. It's just much quicker. Это, то есть, намного быстрее. Я определенно предпочитаю это. То есть, закупаться в этом онлайн, в интернете. Так, второй говорящий. Одна из вещей, которая изменилась для меня, это поездка до работы. Или то, как добираться до работы. Теперь это занимает больше времени. То есть, да, take me much longer. То есть, как бы больше времени теперь, потому что я iCycle, езжу на велосипеде. Несколько лет назад я, получается, ездил на машине. Я брал машину, но затем я решил ездить на велосипеде. Так, not always because I enjoy it. То есть это не из-за того, что... Это не всегда из-за того, что мне это нравится. Просто потому что я знаю, это более полезно для здоровья. То есть вот это слово можно перевести как полезно для здоровья. Healthier. То есть это занимает мне полчаса, чтобы теперь добраться до работы. Ну, вообще-то, когда погода хорошая, мне это нравится. Но когда идет дождь или просто холодно и ужасно, я встаю и думаю, о нет. Вот такой вот говорящий второй. Третий говорящий. Я определенно трачу больше времени на готовку сейчас, чем я делал это ранее. Я думаю, потому что около года назад... это у нас девушка говорила, извините, я просто точно не помню, кто был девушка, кто мужчина здесь. То есть я начала жить со своим парнем. Когда я жила одна, вечером я была уставшая и просто just go to take away, то есть заказывала доставку или готовила что-нибудь очень быстро. И просто just had some bread, или кушала немного хлеба с сыром, или... Что угодно, вот это whatever, это что угодно было в холодильнике. И что угодно, что было легче как бы достать, имеется в виду. Или что полегче. Но когда у вас есть кто-нибудь еще, someone else, это кто-нибудь еще в доме, вы чувствуете, вот что такое feel more like cooking, более предрасположены к готовке, то есть для вас это как бы окей теперь готовить. И к тому же, типа мой парень это вегетарианец, поэтому это стало более сложно сделать что-то очень быстро. Поэтому до этого, то есть раньше я тратила 20 минут в день, а теперь я трачу около часа. Ну, я довольно, то есть нормально к этому отношусь. То есть, ну, не прям счастливо, то есть я этим довольна. Мне это нравится, она говорит. 4. Тут я опять не помню полчеловека, ну ладно. Так, я, возможно, трачу то же самое количество времени работая, as I did 3 years ago. Как это было 3 года назад. Я теперь писатель фрилансовый, то есть это человек как бы сам по себе, его могут нанимать разные компании, а 3 года назад у меня была работа в офисе. И я делал, вы знаете, 35 часов в неделю. Делал. Ну да, то есть имеется в виду, я делал свою работу 35 часов в неделю. Дальше немножко странное предложение, переведу его дословно, можете меня поправить в комментариях. Я, честно, здесь немножко даже сам запутался. То есть теперь некоторые недели я, возможно, работаю около 50 часов, а остальные 20 часов в среднем, я думаю, остались такими же. К чему это было? Ну ладно, я так понял, просто человек работает теперь на 20 часов больше. Вот и все. То есть имеется в виду вот это. Ну и последний говорящий или говорящая. Я определенно трачу меньше времени, чтобы увидеться с друзьями, потому что 2 года назад, получается, мы переехали уже за город из города. А большинство моих друзей теперь в городе, и они теперь довольно далеко, то есть довольно долгий путь имеется в виду, ну и как можно перевести просто довольно далеко от нас теперь. Иногда они приезжают и проводят выходные с нами. Или мы идем, так, или мы, то есть едем, да, наверное, к ним и проводим выходные с ними. Но в среднем, то есть в целом, в среднем, я определенно трачу меньше времени с ними. Вот такая вот была аудиозапись. Довольно непростая, кстати. Ну ладно. Надеюсь, что-то прояснилось теперь. Идем дальше. Now answer questions 1 to 3 in in small groups, but you don't have any groups with you, so answer them yourself. Whose life has changed the most? Okay, let's keep this one. And we have an example here. I spend more time studying than before because I'm in my last year at university and we have our final exams at the end of the year. Listen, while I was recording this lesson, I decided to skip a part in which I answer these questions. I thought, anyway, you heard the audio and it was full of ideas, what to say and how to say. But I believe it's not enough. I'll do it in a podcast form. It's like, an additional or extra audio to listen to for you. And before you answer all of these questions yourself, just listen to me doing it. And I hope you do it as well after me. So let's start with the question number 1. Do you spend more or less time while working or studying? Remember that we talk about a period of the recent 3 years. Only 3 years, not more. Something like that. So 3 years ago, I didn't work a lot. I was studying at that time. My work was something like 7 lessons a week, no more, just to get some experience mostly. And now I spend much more time working. I have 35 lessons a week to pay my bills, to save money for an apartment, to feed my cat, and so on. I don't need to explain you all of those things because you all have a lot of things to pay for, yeah? And to use a comparative, I would say things now are more expensive than they were before. And it's true. So, do you spend more or less time getting to work, university, or school? 3 years ago, it took me about 4 hours a day to commute to my university to go there, so it took a lot of time. But now, I work online, so I spend less time getting to work. The distance now is much shorter. It takes me 10 seconds to get to work, from my bed to my armchair, Okay, next one. Do you spend more or less time talking on the phone? I would say now I spend less time talking on the phone than it was 3 years ago, because back then voice messages weren't as popular as they are now. Right now I think they have replaced phone calls. If you want to talk to someone on the phone, you just record a voice message. And that is why. So next, do you spend more or less time seeing friends? I spend definitely less time on it now. My friends have families, kids, they work a lot, and I think it's not possible to see them a lot. But we try to meet at least once in 3 months or so, or once in a season, once in a winter, and so on. So it's become more difficult to see them. Okay. Do you spend more or less time online or online? I think it's the same. It hasn't changed. I spend a lot of time online, but look, maybe now it's even more. Now it's more. I had a couple of students that I worked with in person, so I walked to their flats and had lessons with them there. Now I work only online. For me, it's more convenient, less stressful, and less time consuming. Yeah. Okay, next. Do you spend more or less time cooking? Cooking has become less time consuming because I can afford to buy ready-made food. So now I spend less time cooking. And that's all what I can say about this. Next, do you spend more or less time shopping? I think it's the same, but I spend more time shopping for clothes. Shopping for clothes online has become more difficult because there are a lot of fake things on the internet. You see photos of some nice trainers, and when you order them, you get a pair of, how to say, they usually are in a terrible condition. So you have to order something new the second time, the third time, until you get a pair in a good quality. So it's become more tiring to buy things nowadays. At least for me. Next, do you spend more or less time using your computer? I think it's the same. I've always used my computer a lot. And now it is the case as well. So that's all for the first part. Let's see the second part. Do you have more or less free time? Why? It's become more difficult to get some free time actually. Life is more expensive, work is more time consuming, and so on. I try to do things more quickly in order to get more free time, and it actually doesn't work. It doesn't work. But my YouTube channel takes a lot of my free time, but I can't complain because I'm so happy to have it. I have always dreamt of something of this sort, so it's okay. And the third part. What don't you have time for nowadays? What would you like to have more time for? Definitely for playing video games. Yeah, I miss those days when I played a lot. I would like to have more time for, going to the doctors, for walking in the parks, for seeing my friends. And actually, there are a lot of things that I want more time for. But anyway. Okay, now I think it's your turn to speak. Practice answering all of these questions. Try to give comments, explain why you think or say so, and include some examples in your speech. So again, your goal is to speak as much as possible. Good luck with it. Now let's look at your homework tasks. Давайте с вами разбирать задания. Первый у нас vocabulary, types of numbers, то есть виды чисел. И нам здесь нужно выделить в кружок то, как правильно говорить эти числа. Это у нас с вами дроби, и тут у нас three quarters, собственно говоря, за нас уже выделено. Ну, давайте переведем на всякий случай, иначе зачем вам эти разборы? Практически 3/4 студентов в нашем классе говорят, что они нетерпеливы. Второе у нас. Исследования показывают, что 47% пользователей интернета ждут 2 секунды или меньше, чтобы страница прогрузилась. Так, проценты у нас никакие эски на конце здесь не добавляются. Это percent, 5%, 10% и так далее. Но тут у нас 47%. Собственно, и выделяем. Так, третье у нас. Более чем 5000 домов в нашем доме, хотел сказать, в нашем городе, сейчас имеют очень быструю широкополосную связь, то есть подключены к очень быстрой связи. Так, смотрите, когда мы называем сколько-то тысяч, нам эски на конце опять же не нужны. Мы просто говорим 5000. Эски нам нужны только когда мы используем слово тысячи отдельно. Там 1000 людей пришли на мероприятие, или 1000 людей посетили что-то, там thousands of people. Если есть какие-то там 1000, 2000, 3000, никаких эсок на конце здесь нет. Вот такие вот дела. Так, четвертое. BMW M3 может, получается, can go from, я так понимаю, может разгоняться от 0 до 60 за 4.3 секунды. Так, у нас 4,3, да, и здесь нам нужно уже не dot. Dot мы используем как точку в этих, когда мы называем сайты, то есть www.vk.com, например. Здесь в числах мы используем слово point. То есть, по сути, 4.3 это у нас 4.3. Вот здесь как так. Пятое. Получается, есть больше, чем 1850 деревьев в парке. Так, и как же у нас это, получается, читается, да? И тут выбор между 1850, что очень странно. Ну, тут вообще как бы остается только вот этот вариант, что похож на правду-то. 1850. То есть, по-другому, 1850. То есть, соответственно, точнее, соответствует вот этому числу. Шестое. Население нашего города 210 тысяч человек. И тут у нас 210,000 and 210,000. Вот это мало, конечно, уроки уделили внимание, но если вы проходили курс Elementary, вы должны это все дело помнить. Там была целая тема посвящена вот этому всему. Но не суть. Смотрите, мы после сотен добавляем у нас союз and обычно, то есть 115, 105 и так далее. Поэтому здесь вот этот вариант правильный. То есть 210,000. 210 тысяч. Вот с вами такое первое задание. Теперь B.